have to do is write your vision and make it plain, and God got the rest. Like, it really is on us. We could lean in and accept what the world is saying. We could lean in and believe that everything that's happening in government and politics is really speaking to our lives. We could believe that if you want to, but I know who really has the plan, and I know that most of you know who really has the plan. And when I look back at what we come from and the ancestors that we stand on the shoulders of, remember the poem 4094? We stand on the shoulders each individually, 4094 ancestors. They say, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. Well, I want you to know that you are the wildest dreams of 4094 people. You are your ancestors' wildest dreams of 4094, because it took your mother, your father, your grandparents, your great grandparents, and great, great, great times, 16 times just for you to be born. And when you count those numbers up, it's 4094. So we stand on the shoulders of 4094 love stories, 4094 struggles, 4094 battles, but people who did not quit, people who did not give up in some of the most adverse times. No matter if you are from the continent or whether you are indigenous to this land, your people fought and fought hard for you to be here. How dare you not be your ancestors' wildest dreams? Please do not be your ancestors' wildest nightmare. You have been given this life to live abundantly, overflowingly, gratefully. So do that. Do that. Do that. Make them proud in whatever it is that you show up to do, whether that is some form of service, whether that is a product, whether it is you just showing up and being helpful to the next person, whether you are the one who is putting together the family tree, or you're the one who's putting together the family events. I know they get on your nerves. I know they get on your nerves, but they who we got. And if you can, lean in with them. Lean in with them. You just might find one, because it's a lot of us. It's 9 of us. So you just might find one that you can lean in with and create something. If not, that's fine. You still go and you lean in and you create it. But when you create it for all of you. And that should be the prayer. Lord, I know they don't want to do nothing. But I know I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. So please give me the strength, the knowledge, and the wherewithal to know the direction that I should go in order to break the generational curses that is on our family. That we no longer want to live in poverty. We no longer want to live in places that do not fit who we are. Help me to be the one. Because if you hear, you are the one. If you are in earshot of my voice, you've been chosen. You've been the one. So lean into your the oneness. That means no longer complaining. You can explain, but you can't complain. No longer complaining. Waking up every day in gratitude that you get to do it one more day. That you get to live this life one more day. And I'm not going to waste it, God. I'm not going to waste it with mindless scrolling. I'm not going to waste it with binge watching shows. I'm not going to waste it. I heard Eric Thomas says in his college days, he read a book a week. I said, a book a week? How can I do a book a week? With intention. Y'all know I've been going to to Old People Day, buying books and more, and I'm just like reading through them. I'm so excited. Books are like flowers, so I just want to read all my flowers, right? And so I just got this old school book called Purpose Driven Life. I have heard those words said so many times that we are living purpose driven lives if you so choose. And so I've never read the book though, but now I got it. So I am looking forward to reading that. And so I heard last night in my work time when I'm always driving. So in my drive time, I listen to books. And so I'm listening to Eric Thomas's You. And he really was leaning into educating ourselves, even if you're not going to school, educating yourself in every way you know how, because the knowledge is really the power. The knowledge is how people pre-qualify you. I didn't become a holistic healer because I went to holistic healing school. They didn't even have that back then. Nobody wants to teach you that. That's something that's usually passed down from generation to generation. You know, your grandma says, this is if your baby got, the runs, then you just get a baby some tea with a little bit of salt in it, or some tea with some flour in it, or dry toast. That stuff is passed down. That stuff is not readily available out here now because of TikTok and some of social media places. You might be able to connect with a herbalist or somebody who will be able to give you that. But prior to that, it came from your family, or it came from intentional learning, or it came from a situation. That's what happened to me. It came from a situation. I had to learn, and learn quickly, how to resolve what was happening with my body, because I felt that at the time, the traditional healthcare I was receiving, I wasn't getting better. I was getting worse. I went from being my vibrant self to I couldn't get off the couch. I couldn't breathe if I walked up a flight of steps. I couldn't breathe if I went outside and it was hot. I couldn't breathe if I went outside and it was cold. So, what was this life? What was this that was happening? And how do I fix it? Is the medicine not helping? Because one of the medicines they gave me made me cough like an old man. And I don't mean like, I mean, imagine me doing that every 5 minutes with you, coughing like that. And I went to the doctor and I said, I think I'm coming down with a cold or something. And I coughed and she said, "Oh no, Darlene." And she chuckled. She laughed and said, "Oh no, that's the medication. Don't worry though. I'll give you something for that. Something for that. Something for that, like you gonna give me a medicine for my medicine?"
Isn't that something? My doctor had me on something that had me for blood pressure, had me coughing all night, choking, like to the
I got the
point
same
where
medicine.
Ephoril or Epipril or something like that. She
Uh-huh.
when she said, "What medication are you on?" And and she looked it up at the same time that she was asking me. She said, "Oh, it's the medicine. I'll just change it." I was like, "Well, why give me a medicine that's gonna make?" I was coughing so hard to the point where
Oh.
if I had anything on my stomach, I would have brought it up. Like,
Yep.
it was,
Yep. Yep.
but then I was so disgusted. If you knew
Very disgusting what they
that
do.
that's what the medicine does, why the hell do you even prescribe that? Ugh.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
made me
Sherry,
so,
Sherry put it all in one nutshell. Did y'all hear what she said? Why would you
yeah.
prescribe that? And then she said, "That's it." I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure back in 2003. And so all of that. And so I just was getting worse. And by the time it was at its worst, they were talking about I was going to need a heart transplant. And that is what sent me over the edge. You want to take out the heart that I love my mama with, the heart that I love my children with, and I couldn't see it. And I just started praying. Even thinking about it right now brings up what I felt back then. Like, no, no, that can't, that can't be right. Take my heart. Oh, it's just no good. It's just not pumping what it's supposed to, do and all that. And then that's when things started to, because I prayed, Lord, please just get me out of this hospital, 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 and I will find another way. Like, just get me out of here. And when I got out, one of my mother's friends told me, um, maybe you should go see what did she call him? A naturopath. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but what is it? She said they do stuff more natural. I said, okay, I want to go to them. And she took me. It was two ladies from my mom's congregation. They took me. And they was the ones that was sitting with me when this man was doing all this look like voodoo stuff. And that was the beginning of the beginning. I got 19 herbs that day. He told me to eat natural and organic. He didn't tell me to become vegan or anything. He just said eat natural and organic. He said drink 8 glasses of water and exercise for 15 minutes a day. I'm like, I can't even walk no steps, some of 15 minutes a day. But I did what he told me to do it in 5 months. My heart was brand new. Where they do that at? I became the one. I didn't even know I was becoming the one. I didn't even know that this would be the trajectory that would send me to where I am today. I did not know. And then fast forward past me, my ex-husband gets cancer and we find a therapy and we resolve the cancer. Stage 4, nose and throat cancer, given 6 months to live without treatment and 13 months to live with treatment. He said, no, I'm gonna trust my ex-wife. I don't trust y'all. And he trusted me and we resolved it. Back in 2011. It is now 2025, and I literally talked to him this morning. Thank you so much. I'm better than okay. I'm better than I ever was. And you resolve cancer one time. The world wants to know, what did you do? How
You.
did you do it? What? Wait, what?
What?
Is that even possible? How did you do it? Can you tell me how you did it? And it sent this whole group of people following me, calling me, asking me, and I'm just, okay, let me look it up. I'll find out. Let me find out. Let me and research wasn't the same as research is now. Research back then was the library, it was the documentaries, it was reading books. In order for me to even find what I found for my ex-husband, it took me 2 weeks of intense research. Intense research. I was just watching documentary after documentary after documentary after documentary. And when I watched those documentaries, everything that came up was this Gerson theory. All through these things, I kept hearing it. You know how you go somewhere and somebody says something to you, and then somebody else says the same thing to you, and then somebody else says the same thing. You know God is talking now. Hold on, wait a minute. She said that. Hold on, wait a minute. He said that. Wait a minute. He said that. I watched multiple documentaries. The one that stands out in my mind right now was called "The Beautiful Truth." Um, Food Matters. Uh, I think it's called Forks Over Knives. And then all of the Supersize Me, all of those types of things. There's another one called Fed Up, Vegucated. And as I'm listening to all of these things are talking about the Gerson therapy. The Gerson therapy. One man talked about buying foxes that he was raising foxes for their fur. And he got a fox that was sick. Uh-huh, I can. And he some kind of way he found the Gerson therapy and he did it with the foxes. And he cured the foxes of whatever it was that they had. And so he made it a point then to buy all sick foxes. So he got a discount because all the foxes were sick when he bought them. And then after getting them, he nursed them to health with the Gerson therapy. I saw so many people. And then there was a movie called The Gerson Miracle. And then that was the last one I needed to watch before I brought all my research back and said, this is what I found. This is what we should do. And Vaughn was like, what now? Do what now? Say what now? You want to do what with what? Because part of the therapy was it was definitely fresh pressed juices, it was vegan raw, it was hydrogen peroxide baths, it was coffee enemas. That's where I lost him at. He said, a what? You want to put what in my who? And how, 5 times a day. You want to do that how many times? No. Mm-mm. I said, well, it's a good thing you're not doing it for yourself. It's a good thing you're doing it for your mama. It's a good thing you're doing it for your children. It's a good thing you're doing it for me. And he thought about it, took a deep breath, and he said, okay. And he allowed me to use this therapy on him that absolutely saved his life. So you are the one, and you don't even know you're the one because your things that happen to you, things that come to you, are things that the world needs, that people need. You don't even know you turning yourself into something else. You don't even know that you're being metamorphosized into something else, that you are alchemizing the things that are turning the things that are crazy in our lives. We don't know at the time that we're making lemonade out of these lemons. And then once the lemonade is made, it's time for you to pour glasses. You got to pour glasses to the
And that
people.
the lemonade is good for us.
Absolutely. So you gotta pour it out. Whatever it is that you've been given, you got to pour it out. Everything that you've been learning, you got to pour it back in. You think that your family is the only one that needs what God gave you? Nope. And from that day to this, I don't know, probably thousands of people that I've had the opportunity to work with that have great stories, great comeback stories, great um, stories of health and healing, and even emotional health, even mental health. There's something for that too. A lot of times, mental health is a chemical imbalance in the brain. So the body's out of balance. So, how do we balance it? First, the person absolutely has to be willing. Has to be. Hey, Tierra. Tierra's on my TikTok talking about she ain't lying. She ain't lying. No, no. I've had the opportunity to work with Tierra, her family, like people, and sometimes it's a simple conversation that you have with somebody and just send them in a direction and they go in the direction. And then what happens is they start doing their own research and find, oh, people do survive this. I guess I can survive this because sometimes what happens when you go to the doctor, what do they say? Well, most people who have that don't survive it. Most people who have this don't survive it. Most people who have this, they usually have something that happens, and then
Go home and get your affairs in order.
yes,
They
they
give you the death sentence.
absolutely put a whole tag on your toe, and tell you that it's over with you. Tierra said, I trust Lady Rose more than my own doctor. And people do call me. They call me and say, this is what they said. What do you think? First, I ask them, what do they think? What do you think? Because it's all about what you believe. Do you believe that this is a death sentence for you? And if they believe it, they're right. If they don't believe it, they're right. But it's all in what you believe in your own mind, that your healing is readily available to you. It doesn't matter how bad it is, it starts right here in your mind. When you go and look at the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches people how to sit and meditate with their bodies. And when he sits and meditates with you, people have spontaneous healing. Spontaneous healing. So there is more than one way to skin this cat. It doesn't necessarily have to be the way the world has always done it. It doesn't have to be the way the world has always done it. And a lot of times when you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you some medication, and don't take this as an aversion to doctors, because I don't have that. I go to the doctor, I get testing, I do all of those things because I just want them to tell me what's going on. And once they tell me, then I will go home and do what I need to do. And so I don't have an aversion to doctors. I think they serve a purpose, especially when it comes to trauma and things like that. Go to the doctor, right? But sometimes what happens is when they tell you what they want to do, in your gut, you feel like this. And you like and people ignore that. Your gut is telling you no. Your gut is you're getting a whole full visceral response that says that's not for me. It's not for you. And sometimes what happens is you don't listen to it and then you do it and you become worse. And sometimes some of it is so, it breaks you down so badly that it's a hard thing to come back from. Go ahead, Debbie.
Grand Rising, that is so true. I've developed a love-hate relationship with doctors, and I say that, carefully because I've had diagnoses that, with medication was like, I'm a, petite 5'4" woman, and they've given me dosages for like a 7-foot man. And I remember having a really bad sore throat. I had my tonsils out. Went to the doctor. They prescribed me like mega doses of penicillin, and my face blew up. And I called the pharmacist, and I was like, what, this medication? And it was like, stop taking it. I was really annoyed because I went to the same place that I had this was a specialist. This wasn't urgent care, and you're giving me these mega doses. And so I say now that I'm allergic to penicillin, but it was just too much at that time. And I will now go, if I have something bothering me, a sore throat, a cough, something like that, more than 3 days, I'll go just to rule out what it could be, right? Like strep throat, I never had it, but I don't want to ignore it. And then I'll
Yes,
go home and, like you said, do what I need to do on my own with my own homeopathic. I remember going to a doctor. She's like, "Oh, I really would like to do more homeopathic work as opposed to her being in the medical field." Because, I was explaining to her what I do, what my preference is. I'm simply ruling things out if I happen to go,
yes,
as opposed to never going. But I think we had a conversation on another call about going to the doctor and men not going, women being the ones who are always going, and encouraging the man to
yes,
go. Go
yes.
check yourself out. Go get a checkup.
Go get a checkup. Go get a checkup.
That is
Doesn't
so
mean that
simple.
you
Yeah,
have to do all the things that they tell you. You just have to go
that's right.
and get. Listen, I say all the time, especially men. They drive these amazing premium cars. They drive their BMWs, they drive their Mercedes, they drive all of these things, right? And they take that car in every 3 months to make sure that the oil is changed, do all that. They washing it, they doing all that. They roll up to the gas station, they put the $5 gas in there, but then turn around and don't put that same kind of energy into their bodies. They don't go get no oil changes. They don't even drink enough water. And then they roll that premium car up into McDonald's. I saw a video of this lady who had some French fries. They got cold. She threw them out for the birds to eat. One, the birds did not eat them. Two, the ants was crawling on them, and the ants that was crawling on the McDonald's fries were dead. They were dead. So what is in that? We can't eat that. Go ahead, Sherry.
So I guess Bed-Stuy needs some McDonald's fries right now because the ants are taking over. Child, them ants is all over the place. They're
Wow.
in my and I bought this ant motels or ant steaks that were supposed to be potent and kill them instantly. Those
Yes.
ants aren't dying. So maybe I need to get
Go
some
get go get an order of fries.
go get some McDonald's French fries. But I wanted to chime in because knowledge is power, and we have to listen to our bodies, do a combination of what the doctor tells you and what you know, and then just use good sense. So I have a heart murmur, and I've had it for years. My doctor says it's okay. We're just watching it.
Mhm.
So I put two and two together. My mother had rheumatic fever as a child, which put a hole in her heart. So it's no wonder that the two children she gave birth to both have heart murmurs.
Mhm.
Plus, we were born at a time when my mother didn't stop smoking while she carried us.
Mm.
So it doesn't, a heart murmur is not a death sentence, but like you said, like your doctor sent you home and said, you know, move 15 minutes a day. We just funeralized my cousin who I think had she learned to move 15 minutes a day, drink water. This was a woman who drank Pepsi almost every day of her life. So um yeah, she had a lot of
Yep.
illnesses that she could have not had she done made other choices.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and then I remember after I had my last child, my bladder dropped. So did my sister's bladder. So we're made the same, but
Mhm.
I didn't know that she had that situation. But I went to a specialist and he said, your uterus looks like you could have had 17 children. And I took that as an insult. And then when I went to a ancestry workshop, I was like, oh my God, that only makes sense. My grandfather was one of 17 children.
Wow.
So it's in my DNA.
Yes.
It's in your DNA, some of the things. And I guess that's why doctors always say, oh, well, if it runs in your family, you'll have it. Some things, yes, but some things you don't have to have.
No, you don't.
And you just, like you said, you did a lot of research, Dr. Rose. You already got your doctorate.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
Listen, they say God will qualify you long before man will. Go ahead, Deb.
Can I speak too?
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Joe Dispenza healed himself. They wanted to put pins and everything in his spine, and he was already a chiropractor, so he knew anatomy. And he laid on his face in the hospital and reconnected his spine. You see him walking around; he don't look like he's had any uh, fatal diseases. He was supposed to be in a wheelchair and everything else.
Yeah.
That's how he
Yeah,
got
that's
started
right.
on this healing message. So please play his go go listen to his meditations. He's got one that puts you to sleep at night and puts your body putting it going back to factory settings while you're sleeping.
That's
Absolutely.
sauce right there, Dr. Loretta. But if y'all don't know who he is, I would recommend just YouTube it a quick, like 5 or 10 minute background where he tells his story and then delve on into the book. But that is sauce right there. She's telling y'all some sauce.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true. And he also has walking meditations
Yes.
that are phenomenal as well. Very, very good. I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I listen to him
Well,
also.
his 7 day intensive, people come in wheelchairs, and one man had
Yeah.
attendants running after him down the beach. He got up out of that wheelchair, and he was running so fast that the folks that were supposed to be attending him couldn't catch him. And Joe was sitting on the bench cracking up.
Yeah.
Wow.
What
I
else?
just wanted to really quickly share. Um, Sherry was talking about the doctors and what her uterus was. I remember being told by two different doctors, two different specialists, that I could not bear children. My uterus was tilted. I had uterine fibroids. You're not going to have children. I even went so far as to having my G1, my gynecologist, perform a series of tests, where he put instruments in to see if I would be able to become pregnant. He was like, oh, no, 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 your uterus, you have these fibroids that, mind you, I still have, are blocking. Right? So I became pregnant with two, not just two children, I became pregnant with twins. But one was in my tube and twins run in my family. So just listening to what Sherry said, that brought back another love hate relationship with doctors. I called my gynecologist and said, Doc, I'm pregnant. He goes, oh, don't tell anyone that I gave you that test. And I'm thinking, what kind of not? That's what you cannot always believe. You do your due diligence,
She's
but of course, when you're
protecting her
told that,
reputation. Don't tell.
yeah, I was going to
Oh,
mail doctor. But it's interesting because, to your point, Darlena, going to these doctors and being told something like that, like, what do you go home with? Oh my gosh, I can't have children, I can't have grandchildren. Two children later and one amazing grandson. So again, it's like doing your due diligence and knowing what, reading, going to the library. I'm always in the library. I was in the library yesterday. It's an
Yeah.
excellent resource. Excellent resource. We have social media. We have Chat GPT. We have so many means now, but
Yeah.
I still go to the library
You go to the
because resources are
energy in
they're
the
good.
library.
It's
The
yes,
it is the energy in the library. When you go in the library, half of us, the last time we were in the library was when we went on a school trip or in
man.
college or something. But
fifth grade.
yes, so it is so important. When you go in there, it's quiet. I've been going to the library with my daughter. My daughter, she had been buying all these books, and then she said, "You know what? I was going to get a library card." And so she's at the library. So I went with her, and I'm like, "Wow!" So I now know where the one is in my neighborhood. But absolutely, whatever it is that they're saying to you, you gotta lean in. You gotta feel what's right for you. Don't let
Yes.
anybody tell you what you got.
Don't give your power away like that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so I don't know who that was for. We are definitely gonna go at least 10 minutes into uh extended programming.
Yeah, because there's plenty to say about that, not letting somebody diagnose you. My mother had that same thing, a tilted uterus, and she wasn't supposed to get pregnant, and here I am.
Exactly. And your brother.
And my brother and
And
my
your
sister. 10
sister.
years, 10 years between me and my sister. I saw my mother carrying a bassinet, and I said to her, what are you going to do that? Use that for the laundry basket? And she said, no, I'm going to use it for what it is. And I looked at her and I said, you have got to be kidding. And stomped up the stairs because I knew I'm the built-in babysitter.
I love it. So let me read our work because our deep breath of life, I think, is going to lean right into what we are talking about. And even our cards. Our cards today, the one says, I stand on my own 2 feet, I accept and use my own power. It is safe for me to speak up for myself. Speaking up for yourself includes when you go to the doctor. It includes what doesn't feel right. It includes what doesn't sit right. It includes what your gut is saying. That ain't it. And then the second card says, I see clearly. It says, I willingly forgive. I breathe love into my vision and I see with compassion and understanding. My clear insight is reflected in my outer sight. And then in our deep breath of life, it starts with the words hands to earth. And the quote says, the labor of the body relieves us from the fatigues of the mind. And it is this which forms the happiness of the poor. What? It's so much to dissect there, but I'll carry on. On my way to speak at a conference, I shared the backseat of a car with a Middle Eastern man who was also scheduled to lecture there. When he asked me about myself, I proudly told him I had written several books. Then I asked him, what do you do for a living? Expecting him to tell me he owned a falafel stand in Manhattan. He said, I'm a brain surgeon. He answered dryly. Feeling somewhat intimidated, I tried to keep the ball rolling. So, how did you get into brain surgery? I asked, not unlike the way I would have asked somebody else. How did you develop an interest for needlepoint? It's part of my religion, he answered. I know there's a joke that doctors think they are God, but this was taking it too far. In the Sufi religion, there is a rule that everyone must take a profession in which they work with their hands. This is the vocation I chose. It seems like a wise rule. I know many people who work with their heads and many who work with their hands, but by far I find that people who use their heads or their hands are happier a lot. The elements of nature ground us and heal us. All of the principles of the spirit are reflected in nature. To work with the elements is to be constantly reminded of our source. When we live in our intellect, we lose touch with the power of nature. When the European culture moved west and overcame the indigenous people, a great treasure was ravaged. We must reestablish harmony with the earth that nourishes us. Welcome opportunities to work with your hands, gardening, pottery, and crafts, massage, carpentry, and any earth oriented endeavor will restore balance and harmony in a way that thinking alone cannot. I pray to live in harmony with the elements, Great Spirit. Restore my connection with nature. As I touch the earth, I am healed and I give healing. Why did that come up? Why did that come up?
You know why?
Well, I'm a farm. I'm a farmer, so I grew up on the earth, working with the land. That's
Absolutely.
my whole foundation,
Yes.
and I'm three generations from homesteaders, and the recover the freed slaves did all the harvesting of the crops. So that's from my three generations back.
I love it. I love it so much. And
Darlina,
ma'am,
you know what I thought about just now?
what's that?
Okay. You know, you used the analogy of the men in their cars
Mm-hmm.
and the way they take care of their cars because they realize after so many miles, you have to do what they call
Maintenance.
the basic maintenance of their vehicle.
Yes.
And why would we not think that after all of these years of being in our bodies and dealing with what we deal with on a day to day, and why do we feel like we could just go 100,000 miles without no no they call it preventative maintenance in our
Mhm.
business.
Yes. Yes.
They call it preventative maintenance on the truck. This is why our truck lasts so long because after so many miles, you have to keep taking it to the shop. You got
Yes.
to change the oil. You got it. The bigger the engine, the more care it takes. But a truck will run for a while. Like you
Yes.
can run a truck 400,000 miles before you swap it out for another truck.
Yes.
Why do we feel like we could put all these miles on these bodies and we ain't supposed to go do no kind of maintenance to
Mm.
our bodies? Like we need these things that God put around the world for us, the flowers, the ocean,
Yes.
These things are not vacation stuff. This stuff we need. We
Yes.
need to do this more regularly.
Yes.
And I the more, for my birthday this year, I said I want to give myself life.
Yes. That's what I said.
Life.
What I said.
Because we work so hard,
You do.
so hard to just be
Yes.
instead of just being so that we could do the divine work.
Absolutely.
And it's just, I love it when you talk about the wellness things, because it just reminds me of where you started. You started with us with the food.
Mm-hmm.
Like you told us, read that box. Stop going in there picking up stuff, and with, I'm talking about all the way down to the bread. Oh my God. Darlena, I lied to you not. I coughed the other day, and I coughed up hair. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Where did hair come from?
Mm.
And I thought about you talking about the bread.
The
Oh,
bread has hair in it. The words dough conditioner in bread is hair.
what?
Yeah, it's hair. It's some stuff, it don't even make sense why they would even want to put that in our food in the first place. But so much of the food has so many things in it. That's why it was a whole conversation that I had to have about bread and why you have to choose certain types of bread. If you turn your bread over and it says dough conditioner, that is code for hair.
You turn your bread over and it says what?
Dough conditioner.
Dough conditioner?
And
Mhm.
it's on the packages. I have picked up, when you told us to do that, Darlene, I went in the store and I picked up one of my favorite breads. And I saw dough conditioner.
Why do they put that in there?
And
Why
I was
why
like,
do they put antifreeze in cereal? Why do they put T is trifecta something something this long T word in my favorite cereal, honey nut Cheerios is in the Cheerios, is in cinnamon toast crunch, is in most of your cereals has this long T word, and that T word is antifreeze. Why does antifreeze need to be in the cereal that we give to our kids? Why? Because it's causing autism, it's causing all of these things. The whole purpose in the food is to make you sick. So you go to the doctor, so you get on medication, so that you're in this vicious cycle of being a customer to the pharmaceuticals. That's why it's so important to be mindful of your food. Food is not just food. I just saw a thing, I talked about it the other day. They're trying to put vaccinations in tomatoes and lettuce. Like, what? Why would you put vaccines in that? Just give the vaccines how you give it. No, they want to put it in there so they can give it to people unknowingly. So unknowingly, you are eating something that is giving you some other pharmaceutical stuff that causes other problems. You won't even know what it came from. Because the man was saying, "Oh, well, I want to put where they have to tell you how many tomatoes you need to eat to get the proper doses." Then the man say, "Wait a minute, the proper doses of what?"
What?
Our food is so when we go to CVS, they're gonna have a refrigerator section with lettuce and tomatoes in it that has vaccines in it. Why are we doing this? Is this illegal? This is illegal.
To give you stuff and not tell you. That's illegal.
and
Right.
in other
It's
countries they
banned.
don't do that. They ban stuff like that. They don't do it. And they want control. We live in a society that is so capitalized,
Yes.
colonialized. They want control so bad
Yep.
that they will start where they start with our sustenance. They start in the place where we have to sustain ourselves. This is why learning to grow your own food is not just a hobby, it's necessary.
And if you don't want to grow your own food, then you find co-ops, you find your local farmers markets,
Exactly.
things like that, people that you know you can trust. And they're everywhere. Every city, every state
My
has.
daddy was so, he said, you know, we're organic farmers. I said, yeah, I know that. Yeah, we just clean out the barn and put it on the garden. I said, yeah, Daddy, I know. And we don't have any DDT. We got your brother. He picks the tomato worms off and runs around and scares you with them.
Yeah. So absolutely. So that's what we have to do. That's part of it. I was in Publix and I saw they had fake meat in Publix. It was and they it was labeled, but it didn't look like it was fake. And if you wasn't paying attention, you wouldn't even know it. And they still don't know what the effect on the human body is going to be after eating this stuff for a certain amount of time. So a lot of people, like right now, I went to a face graduation, and there was a woman there who was suffering from COVID vaccine blindness. She got the vaccine, and it caused her to go blind. So guess what she's in? A study. She's in a study on how the COVID vaccine has affected her body, because those studies were not done before the vaccine came out. So now
No.
all of those people who took the vaccine are now a part of the study as to what this is going to do. And I just recently saw where they are saying, come on and get your COVID vaccine right now before the rush in September and October.
Mm.
So you doing studies, but you still pushing it. Like it makes no common sense. It makes no common sense. So I want you to lean in to your common sense when somebody is saying things to you, when people are offering things to you. I want you to think about that. And then I want you to look for on your packages genetically modified, GMO. I want you to look for that. If you see it, don't use it. There is an app called Yuka, Yuka. Download it on your phone. And when you go in the grocery store, I want you to scan the food that you're picking up. It will give you a 0 to 100
Mm. Mm.
rating on all of the food. And so when you do that, it will tell you if this is good for you or not. It will tell you what, so some things you look at and say, it's a 30. I'm not eating nothing that's a 30. I'm not eating nothing that's a 20. I'm not eating nothing that's a 10. It gotta be 70% or higher. You're not gonna get, it's not gonna be perfect. Most stuff is not. You can get stuff in the 80s, stuff in the 90s. And I usually try to stay somewhere between the 70 and 90% for it. You do juice, you do anything that's in a box, anything that has a barcode, they can tell you whether or not it's good for you or not. So you need to use that for yourself and for your family, especially when it comes to cereal, milk. You know, all of these almond milks, cashew milks, all of those milks that they're now making, all of those milks are bad. They contain xanthan gum and guar gum and all of these things that, and think about gum. Think about what gum does. You put gum in your mouth, you chew it, it's sticky. You put gum in your food, gum in things you're drinking, now you starting to gum up things in your body. So you start, if it has guar gum, xanthan gum, it's gonna gum up your body. So why do you want that? So you have to look for milks like almond milk and oat milk from like Khalifa Farms. Khalifa Farms has 3 ingredients: water, salt, and almonds. It's another one called Malk, MALK. But Silk, Almond Breeze, I know they look like they good. See one of the influencers that I watch, she says the front of the packages is for entertainment purposes only. Entertainment purposes only. The front of the packages is when you turn it around that you get the education as to what's really in that. So we just have to be really, really mindful. And it seems like I need to talk about this even more. So I'm going to find some way to talk about all of the things that I know, because it's a lot that I know.
Yes,
Darlena,
yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
we
Darlena,
need,
yes.
Darlene, we need to have our Wellness Wednesday back.
yeah, yeah.
We just need to
Darlena,
put Wednesday for wellness.
I
Okay.
grew up on a farm and we didn't raise nothing that started with X.
No.
So when you read you read the ingredients and they got X's in them, that didn't come from anybody's farm. That's
Yeah.
better living through chemistry,
Yes.
man.
Yes. Well-being Wednesday. All right. Well, I guess
I
today
was
is I guess
I
today
was
is
wondering,
Wednesday.
Darlena,
Yes.
I was wondering if anybody here um, drinks soursop tea
Yeah, right.
Yes,
because I hear that
I do.
it do you really? I hear that it
Yes.
cures cancer,
It does.
and
It
I
does.
was
And where's that at? I
thinking,
need some.
Yes, ma'am.
yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
I was
And for
thinking
that,
about like drinking it as like a preventive measure. You know what I
So
mean?
that's what I drink it for here.
Getting okay. I
Uh,
think I'm gonna start after this conversation. I think
so
I'm definitely gonna start.
this is
Okay.
Ruby, I'll bring you back some leaves when I go back to
yes.
Jamaica.
Bring the leaves. Bring
Okay.
the leaves. The
Please
leaves are
do.
better. The
Listen,
leaves are better.
it's right,
Yes.
it's Ruby, it's right in the front
Bring them,
yard.
bring them, bring them in,
I don't
sister.
have to buy
Oh
it.
my
Bring
gosh.
them in, sister.
Bring
Right
them
in the
Bring them in.
front
in.
yard.
Bring
I
them
can
Oh
in.
put
my
What is
anything I
she
goodness.
want.
saying?
What'd she say?
What's
Bring
she
them in,
I
sister.
saying?
said
Bring them leaves in. Bring them. Bring the leaves.
I bring the leaves.
Yes.
She's
Makes
giving hand signals.
You want mango leaves, soursop leaf, lemon leaves. You want all of it? Yeah,
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 just
but
tell me.
ship them to me
so
because
Okay.
I
so
Thank
one
you
can't
of
get
so
them.
the
much.
Come
so one
on,
of
Jeanette.
the
Start
Sasha,
shipping
you
that
want some
stuff
too? I know
around
you
to
know
us.
how to get it, Sasha.
Sasha know how to get it.
Well, I
She
don't know. So pack me a care package and ship it to me.
So one of the things that I'm working on is a how to create your own apothecary in your house.
Yeah.
Your own herbs, your own remedies, your own things for when things come up, especially precursoring winter. So that when this COVID or whatever it is that they saying is out here, that your immunity will already be built from the things that I'm going to teach you how to do. So
Yes.
I'm putting together that as we speak. Not only am I putting together the how to begin your own apothecary, but also how to find herbal remedies that are growing in your town. Like depending on where you live at, you can find out what grows where you live. And once you find what grows where you live, all you got to do is go into your mountain or your state park or wherever and go pull what grows. So in Georgia, we got yarrow, we got mullein. It's so many things that grow. Y'all have dandelion growing straight in your front yards. I saw this flower. It looks like a daisy, but it's not a daisy. But it's some kind of herb that grows here in Georgia. It's all in my yard. And so there's ways to pull out something raw like that and to prepare it. So in the apothecary, we're gonna in that course we're gonna teach you how to prepare it, how to dry it, how to use a most of the time you see this, it's called a pestle. You see people using it when they make guacamole at your table. That thing. How to use that and create powders and things out of it so that you can have these apothecaries, how to make a winter tonic, how to make a summer tonic. All of those are going to be a part of it so that your immunity is built. So yes, Shanette, we need everything you can bring back because that's all going to be a part of it. So it really is important to pay attention to these types of things when you go like our parents and great generations could not go to the grocery store. There was no grocery store. There was no grocery
You,
store.
you know what? You know what? People that eat meat, they need to, when you guys go to the grocery store, you need to ask them to give you the piece of salmon without the dye on it. They'll go get it. Okay? The dye, they put the dye on it, guys. That's why it looks nice and pink. It's not supposed to look like that. The
Mhm,
apple's not supposed to be nice and shiny. No,
mhm.
ma'am. No, sir. So these
There
things
is
you have to know.
it was an orange farm when I was in Jamaica. My friend took me to the orange farm where we could pick oranges in Jamaica. Them oranges was so ugly. I said, "What kind of ugly? They black, they little, and but it was the best fresh pressed orange juice I ever had in my life. All that pretty stuff is more than likely genetically modified, and they're using certain pesticides as well. So what we have to do is I'll find the list. There's a list of grocery stores that have committed to not using things like that, and then there's a list that do, and then there's a list that says we will neither confirm nor deny that we are using it. Aldi is on that list. We will neither confirm nor deny. Walmart says we don't use it on our Walmart products, but we can't speak for the other companies that do that. Publix is one that says we absolutely not. Target says we absolutely do. There's a there I saw a TikTok video where the person is saying they're singing the song "These People Killing Us," and they put Target, Albertsons, Acme, a bunch of people that allow the appeal products in there. And if you don't know, you can't. So you can go to Walmart and buy clothes. You can go to Walmart and buy other things, but you cannot buy produce from Walmart. So so I see what's happening. I see what God is saying. I hear it blaring in my ear real loud. It's not by accident that today is Wednesday and all of this came up on Wednesday for us to talk about today. So I will take that under advisement and make sure that next Wednesday that we have well-being Wednesday again.
Make your YouTube short about bread. Make it about the bread, and you will, ma'am, just make a short video
I will.
about the bread.
I
And
will.
I stopped eating Honey Nut Cheerios because you and I love those
I
things.
love Honey Nut
I would eat them
Cheerios.
dry. I wouldn't even eat them with milk, and I love them. I
Ah,
realize now that I don't even buy them no more. I was like, all because of Darlaina. I don't buy them things no
oh,
more.
listen, there was a time when people used to call me and say, "Damn it, I cannot go to the grocery store without hearing your voice in my head." Look, Darlena said, "Don't get that." Darlena said, "Don't get that." No, Darlena said, "Don't get that." And like I'll get those phone calls like, "Girl, I need you to get out of my head." But yeah,
That's why Baby Rose is the way she is. I remember when Baby Rose got on, man, Baby Rose got on that train and put on some skates and
honey,
kept going.
she been left me. She been left me. It's no paper products in here. It's nothing plastic in here. She used reusable paper towels. Um, she don't allow me to bring bottled water. She don't allow plastic bags from the market. Mom, where are your reusable bags? Why are you bringing more bags in here? And I remember the first time I bought her bottled water, and she was like, "Do you know how much plastic is in the ocean?" I'm like, no. It's enough plastic in the ocean the size of Texas because of these bottles. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm the mom. I'm the mom. I'm the mom. But absolutely, this has definitely been divine intervention, divine conversation that will lead us into what we're doing. Yeah, the stuff that's in the food, in the cereal, in the candy. You know, when our candy is shipped over to London and all of those places over there, they put a sticker on it. They put a sticker on it and says, if you eat this has been known to cause autism in children. Things like nerds and sweet tarts and all of the candy that's at the register when you leaving. That candy that your kids want really bad, they put a sticker on it when it lands in another country to tell them that if you eat this is what it's going to do with your child. It will cause hyperactivity. It will cause autism. It will cause ADHD, all of this stuff. But it's not labeled here in the United States. And then when people get these labels, they think that something is really wrong with their child. Really, there's nothing wrong with your child other than what you are allowing them to eat. What you are feeding them is what the problem is. So yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But yes, thank you, Bridget, and thank you, Brenda, and thank you. I don't know who else was saying stuff about Wellbeing Wednesday, but it's done and done, done and done. I heard it loud and clear. Uh,
Gwen said it first. Everybody said it. We've been in the chat talking about Alan been in the chat. Like we been chopping it up, girl. You gotta read the chat. We've been
Oh,
talking
gotta read
now.
the chat. Let me read the chat.
Like we've been talking for a long time in the chat, girl.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I see it. I see it. I see it. But yeah, so I definitely will do that. on Wednesdays again and give you all of the research and everything where you need to look it up and everything. With that being said, Lord, this extended programming.
Yeah, nothing with
Thank
an
you, Dr.
X.
Rose. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Rose.
you,
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr.
Rose.
Rose.
So welcome.
Nothing with an X. Don't eat nothing with an X.
Oh, honey, they got X's, they got Z's, they got U's, they got A's, they got a lot. Listen, if you turn the box over and everything looks like a foreign language, don't eat none of that.
Don't eat none of it.
Oh my God. And I remember I wanted this seafood yellow rice. Most of the time Spanish people make it. And it has mussels and shrimp and all that in it. And I saw they had it in a box.
Oh
And
no.
I was like, oh, and it came with the seafood was in a can and then the rice was in there. And I'm like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. And then I go and I yuca it.
And it said, mm-mm,
It was a 19.
a 19.
I said, oh no. I'm gonna have to get my favorite Spanish person to make it from scratch.
19.
So yes. So with that being said, Dr. Long, please give us our prayer for today.
Well, we're determined to be healthy so we can help others. So
Yes,
we have to do what it takes to stay healthy.
absolutely.
All right. I am blessed going in.
I'm blessed going in.
I'm blessed coming out.
I'm blessed coming
I'm
out.
I'm
blessed
blessed
coming
in the
out.
city.
I'm blessed in the
I'm
city.
blessed in the field.
I'm blessed in the field.
I am always in the right place at the right time
I am
Always
always in the right place at the right time
with the right people,
with the right people,
doing the right thing
right,
doing the right
for
thing
the right reasons,
right
for the
reason.
right reason.
and everything's in divine order.
And everything is in divine order.
As Jabez says, bless us indeed.
As Jabez says, bless us indeed.
Expand our territory.
And our
Expand our territory.
Extend an open hand of favor to us
been an
Send
open.
the open hand of favor to us,
that we may do no harm.
We
that
may
we may do no harm.
And we let go and let God.
we let
And we
go.
let go and
Let
let God.
Then go with the flow
And
go.
go with the flow.
and let the blessings and the money roll in.
And let
And
the
let the
blessings,
blessings and
money,
money roll in.
Here it comes, y'all, from the north, south, east, and west,
from the north, south,
From the
east,
north, south, east, and west.
from above and beneath,
From
above,
above and beneath.
from known and unknown sources.
from
From
known.
known and unknown sources.
Tell us about our money, Darlena.
We have supernatural, unlimited money, sowing supernatural, unlimited seeds.
And we live and give out of God's overabundance so we never run out.
Run out.
We have more than enough to do anything we desire,
Yes. Yes.
more than enough to do anything God puts on our hearts to do for others.
Yes.
We have, what's that, Bridget? We have our account in heaven, our heavenly bank account.
What's the name of your bank?
What?
Heaven.
What's the name of your bank?
Heaven. Mhm.
What is the name of your bank?
Heaven.
All right.
And so we have money to spend, money to lend, and money to keep. And part of that money you keep and reinvest it so it keeps on rolling in. Hey,
Absolutely.
amen.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you,
What's
everybody.
the name of your bank?
Heaven. Heaven.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what.
you, everybody, for
And
hanging
we're
out.
living out of God's bank account. We haven't even touched our own personal account. You see,
Oh,
money, God's money. Hallelujah.
that's it. All right, everybody. Have an amazing day on purpose. We'll talk soon. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same station.
Name of your bank?
And
Heaven.
thank you for hanging out for the extended programming today. All right, everybody.
Darlene, sorry, what's that ingredient in bread that you said?
Dough conditioner.
Dough conditioner.